Hey guys, what's up? This is Mando-Bricks, and this is my Starcraft Marauder MOC. It was kind of randomized, but Starcraft was a theme from my childhood, kind of, because my dad used to play it a lot. And so it's kind of nostalgic for me, so this is what I decided to do for this month's MOCs. So this is a Marauder, which is basically just a kind of a small mech suit. I would say light, but it has heavy firepower in a small package, which is always fun in any scenario ever. So, as far as scaling goes, here is our most normal minifigure ever, who you can see is about maybe half the size. I can change the angle a bit to make that a bit easier to see. So yeah, about half the size there. Comes up to around mid-shoulder, but yeah. So now we'll just get into some of the details, posability, and all the fun things like that. So as a first note, one of the things that I like about this is that I like to do this with all of my MOCs that, do this types of stuff, which is basically all of them, because guns are awesome, and I live in Texas, so ha. Anyway, but with these, of course, if you just use a donut stud and one of these pieces, this is in like every Iron Man set ever now, you can very easily add some blast effects and stuff with the arms, and I'll move into how the arms can move and everything in just one moment, but I'll do more with that later probably. So as far as detailing goes, starting with the legs, there's not really a whole lot to the legs. They're very basically built. It's basically just a system of hinges and stuff, which you can see pretty easily. Knees can bend. They can move. They have somewhat of a range of motion, but these things are kind of more tankish, and they don't really move a whole lot, so I'm okay with that. And then there's kind of this piece that kind of goes over the crotch area, and then big shoulder pads for the arms, kind of another area that moves out of the sides of the main guns, which are here. Actually, the only guns. These are sort of fuel lines that go from the back to the arms that I just simply built with a lever piece. The nice thing about these is they're fully articulatable, so they can move 360 degrees horizontally and 180 degrees vertically, and so that helps a lot with the posability of using them as a lot of different things besides just levers. The back is kind of a big complex of things. It's really, the size of it is kind of a consequence of the way that I built the body and everything. A lot of it centers around this point here, which kind of expands forward and then around to all of the other areas, and that's why the back ended up being kind of chunky, but I think that proportionally speaking it did actually kind of work out. In any case, these are some headlight bricks that kind of have these tires, which seem to be these are big kind of cylindrical tanks basically that I assume would hold the fuel for whatever. I guess it seems like it's a plasma cannon, so I would assume that that would be pressurized gas that goes down this area and then is ionized into plasma. I'm not a scientist, but I've done a lot of research on the fun things like plasma, so I know how plasma works. Anyway, in any case, so those are probably pressurized air tanks, probably some sort of cheap something like hydrogen, I don't know. Deuterium is what they use for nuclear stuff, but that's not what this is. Anyway, from there, I have this arching area there that has some different grills just to get some nice angling and stuff. And then this is just, I guess, these pieces are on they're on my last MOC with the tripod Necron. That was last month. And then they are usually in CMS and such. So I use those to connect to these kind of other exhaust ports or whatever those are. I don't really know what those are. It would make sense that those are exhaust ports if this is just a tank for gas, because plasma obviously has a lot of heating and stuff because it's plasma and it's super, super hot. Anyway, moving on from there, the arms are connected by a T-bar. That is, take this off, then you can kind of see the cross-section of this. It's just a lot of different sorts of pieces and such that come together for the whole thing. The arm starts with 2x2 plates. That's connected over there. And then it has these sort of 1x2 clips that connect to a T-bar, which connects to a 2x2 round plates, which connects to the rest of the arm with one of these sorts of pieces that I use to integrate a joint there, which works pretty darn well. And then this can also articulate, sort of, but this doesn't, so that's kind of annoying. But that's just using one of these pieces, whatever those are called. You can probably see what it is. And then just that to add some extra detailing, because this area is not flat. And then these are just Technic pin covers or whatever they're called. I don't really know. A lot of these pieces, I don't know the actual name for them, so yeah, I can't really help a whole lot with that. Anyway, so that's all we got for that, and then that also kind of goes over the posability. It's not a ton, but it has enough that, like, you know, the arms can move out like this, which is really great, so you can have like a double shooting sort of type of pose there. And, you know, of course, angling. This can go all the way in like this, which is a lot of posability for something with joints like that, actually. And then, of course, these can just point straight forward, obviously. That's not a challenge at all. So, yeah. I'm overall pretty happy with it. If you guys want to see instructions or something like this, it's kind of a weirder sort of build, especially with the torso and hip area. So if you want me to make a secondary video that basically just shows how to build it, similarly to the one that I did with my Hydra Stomper, then put it in the comments and I'll make the video. That's not like a ton of a hassle for me to build, or to make, I guess. So I don't mind doing something like that. In any case, next week we'll have, I haven't really decided on exactly what it's going to be, but if you're familiar with Starcraft, put comments below. I haven't started building it yet. I built this tonight because I was so behind. So you know what? That's just life. Anyway, I hope you guys have an amazing day. Please do like the video if you like this build, and subscribe if you want to see more Starcraft builds like this, or any miscellaneous franchises and stuff. Put the franchises in the comments, because I'm going to keep on going with this monthly thing. Go watch my Warhammer videos. I particularly like my Imperial Knights. I really like that one. And then I also quite liked my Orc, I think. Those were the ones that I liked the most. So go check those out if you haven't watched them already. I wish you guys the best of times to get you through the worst of times, because both of those are part of life. Anyway, see you next week, and fare thee well.